Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God. What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. It's a great another Thursday here, and before we get started, we got Nate McDonald, our judge, great judge from Matagorda County. Nate McDonald's going to be calling in and talking to us in just a little bit.
Tall judge, very tall judge.
Turn your little thingy again. I think there's a problem. It may be. Is it a problem? Oh, no. No.
Oh, there we go.
It's my fault.
Okay.
Of course.
Write that down.
40-some years of doing this.
Everybody write that down.
It's my fault.
My fault.
Oh, my wife's listening. She's going to say everything's my fault. That's all right.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it, too. Joining up, but before we get going, though,
yes.
Tell us. Mitch Thames here. Well, Mitch Thames is with us. That's him.
I'm
right
here.
There.
Right here.
Right there he is.
Excellent.
But what I wanted to say real quick was Nate McDonald's going to be here, our Matagorda County judge.
Yes.
And the great mayor of Bay City, Robert Nelson, is going to be joining us.
They're both going to join us.
Yes, in just a little bit. Now, before I get started, before we get started, I want to say something real quick. A lot of storms. You've seen the storms that happened this past week. A lot of it, I didn't go on the air because I knew a lot of it was going to be more to the north and not down here. And I do have listeners in Madisonville.
Right.
We have them in Madisonville and stuff. I have family that lives up there in Madisonville. And Madisonville got hit pretty hard. Crockett, Snook, over Bryan College Station, that whole line through there. We got family that lives up there, my wife's family especially. So the deal was that there was a little barbershop up there called Red's Barbershop. I wrote a little thing on there on Facebook about it. If you have a chance, go and check it out. It's about Red, and it's about his son Matt, and it's about the barbershop. When I did Happy Radio on 92.5, we did Michael's in the Morning, which was a popular morning show, probably more because of my wife than anything.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Good statement.
Probably more because of my wife and everybody else.
go.
Everybody else that came on the show more than me. I just pushed buttons. That's all I did. So
and sold the advertising.
I
like that part too.
And mopped the floors,
You
cleaned
made
the
the
toilets.
money.
I cleaned the toilets.
Yeah,
I did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that little barbershop in Madisonville, there would have never been a Michael's in the Morning.
No kidding.
It's
all
no
the
kid-
crazy characters,
all the crazy
craziness.
Maddie
was born at Red's Barbershop,
and that is not kidding. That is honest to goodness. We did more character call-ins and Maddie, who was there at the barbershop, when Red was still there cutting hair before he retired and moved to Centerville and he retired to open up his own shop in Centerville. Gave Maddie the business down there, but Maddie used to do all kinds of voices. He did. He used to call into the station and say he was a Chinese restaurant, and we're ordering Chinese food. And he was yelling, and the cooks were Mexican in the back, and the Chinese guy was yelling at the Mexican. And then he would do all the voices that he did and that we did together was craziness. And we built up that radio station over there. You know, it seems like I built them up so good they turn it and they sell them.
Well, yeah.
Now they're worth money. Oh, they're worth money.
You had 92.5 on the Houston charts.
Yes,
the Houston charts.
That is true.
Was putting 92.5.
Yeah,
and so all that does is just adds to the value.
Yeah. Now a lot of people won't agree with that. So everybody else is going to raise their hand and go, "Oh, I did it. You know, there's a lot of things that are involved in running a radio station. You know, and we used to do it right off the cuff.
Right.
People say, well, do you have a script or anything? Hell no. There was no script. We just had crazy people that fit in at the right time to do what we did.
Well, I think it's amazing because when you think of small town and you think of rural America, the barbershop was the center of attention. Other than the church.
Right.
Everybody came to the barbershop.
Yeah, everybody came to
that's where all the good rumors were.
Yeah. Oh my God, the rumors that I could talk about a couple state cops that I know that would listen to the show. Sheriffs, all the judges, all of them. I know. Oh my God! Every one of them. I had a group of people in Madisonville come to me at the radio station saying, "You're the voice of this town, and we know at the center of the town to change. So you're going to go and talk to the judge, who I did not get along with at that time. Was just an older guy, Henderson, Judge Henderson up there. He's retired now, or I don't even know if he's alive anymore. But and the judge wouldn't look at me. His head was down the whole time like this when I was talking. But that's also where Kay Bailey Hutchinson came when we did that change of when Rita came up Interstate 45 and all those people died.
Yep.
So that's also in that same area. That's when that kicked off as well, too, to get generators at these radio stations.
Oh, man.
So there was a lot of history there. A lot of history there.
Red's Barbershop.
So if there's anything you can do to help these folks get it back together, I'd really appreciate it. And just email me, Jeff@GulfCoast1Radio.com. Just Jeff@GulfCoast1Radio.com. We want to get their lives back together. He had a ton of contents inside the store. The building's going to be rebuilt and all this and that. But he lost original. He lost original albums. He lost a lot of personal things inside that he will never be able to replace. Okay. So we really, really, like I said, just if there's something you can help with, just go to Jeff@GulfCoast1Radio.com. And as the person that's on the phone with us here in a minute will tell us, Madison County and up in Centerville, Leon County and stuff. We used to talk about it all the time.
Cool.
But anyway, joining us on the phone.
Excellent, Judge. Nate McDonald.
Jeff, how are you guys?
We are great, Judge.
Doing
Thank
good,
you
buddy.
so much for calling.
You bet. Happy to.
Well, we're kicking off a little radio podcast. I don't know what you call it, but trying to inform the community about what's going on, not only in Matagorda County but also Texas itself. So a lot going on. But I know that you've been a busy man the last couple of weeks. We've been discussing it between your judicial duties and pickleball. And that grandkids of yours.
Pickleball. I don't even know what pickleball is.
Oh, he'll show you.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
He'll use you as the backdrop.
Yeah. Just learning a new sport. A couple of years ago at 64, whoever thought that would happen? But
pickleball.
Competitive fires still burn. So on we go.
I got to say something about Judge one time. One time I made a phone call, and it went to voicemail. I said, hey, when you have a chance, call me, this and that, blah, 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 blah. So I put something on Facebook or whatever, and his wife told me, he says, oh, yeah, he's working the skiing thing, right? And then he called me back, and I said, where are you at? He said, I'm on the top of a mountain about 3 miles in the air. I'm like, what are you calling me for? Are you crazy? You're calling me from the top of a mountain? But I thought that was really cool. I don't know.
It is pretty cool. Judge, how many conversations have we had at the top of that mountain?
Oh, Rich, we've had hundreds and hundreds of them, brother. On the top at the patrol headquarters, but also we've had them on lots of ski lifts in the day.
That's right.
Oh, man.
A lot of important projects we worked on. We couldn't stand to miss phone calls, so we pick up wherever we are and go do business, right?
So if you were at the top of the mountain, that means that when you talk to Mitch, things snowballed. No, I'm only kidding. That's a terrible joke. Isn't that a terrible joke?
I will tell a story on the judge. We were dealing with Tenaris, and it was just a few of us that were working on it quietly. And I remember having the conversation with you, Judge, when you were driving to Ruidoso, and we could talk when you were on top of the mountains, but then you'd go down in the valleys, and it cut out. And then when you come back up on top of the next ridge, we could carry on our conversation.
I remember that well. I do, and you're absolutely right. Whether it's driving out there or driving up the mountain, depends on what side of the hill you are, and if you're
Right.
in a switchback or on a long straightaway, there's no coverage or great coverage depending where you are.
Well, I appreciate you being you've been an official up there on that mountain for quite a few years. Take about 3 minutes and tell us a little bit about that side of Judge Nate McDonald.
Okay, back in so this is my 30th years of ski.
Wow.
Ski
Jesus.
patroller at Ski Apache. I started literally 30 years ago and just completed my 30th season March 15th, and no falls this year, so I got through another successful year and pulled a bunch of sleds down the mountain with injured people in them. But it started out you learn medical skills. And I wanted to do that because I had a handicapped son at home, and I needed to know how to care for him in an emergent basis in case that ever happened. And after I'd been on the ski patrol about 8 years, it did happen. And Neil went into cardiac arrest, and I knew what to do, and Cheryl knew what to do, and James knew what to do as a 13-year-old, and we worked as a team and kept him alive. But unfortunately, 45 minutes later, I lost my son. But due to that ski patrol training, I understand how to operate with a cool head
Right.
in an emergent situation. Unfortunately, we get a lot of practice at that up there with people running into trees and rocks and each other. And then there's easier stuff like knee tweaks and altitude sickness and things like that,
Right.
which is frankly what we pray for. We pray that no one gets hurt, but there's only been 3 days in 30 years that we had no injuries.
Wow.
1,500 days probably. When I came to the county in 2007, you and I know you work as our joint information professional, PIO.
Yeah.
And I had to learn the emergency management piece, but I'd already done it up close and personal for about 15 years when I got here. So it's been a good primer for me in this current job, but also for my family and others. I've rescued people out on the roadways and in drowning incidents and several different things with the skills that I learned up on that mountain from my colleagues and trainers.
Well, Judge, I can attest to that because we've been tested several times with hurricanes and several natural disasters, and you're always calm, cool, collected. You always, in fact, I was talking to some folks. You've always commanded that emergency operations center fairly but strictly, and made sure that we stayed on task and made sure the number one goal of the emergency operations center, Judge, and you're the head of it, is the health and safety of every Matagorda County citizen and every visitor to this community.
That's right, Mitch. You're 100% right. I think you coined that phrase back 12, 15 years ago, and I've adopted it. And, I agree with you wholeheartedly. We speak with one voice coming out of there so that we get the correct information to the citizens of this county and our visitors, but also the folks who may be passing through as they're evacuating or coming down to care for a loved one. It's very, very important, as you know, in the Joint Information Center to have good, reliable information. And, you press us to get it, and I'm glad you do. That's,
I remember when the Angleton, the Brazoria County judge called you and said, Judge, I just wanted you to know I'm evacuating our whole county through Matagorda County. And you said, well, wait a minute, and let's talk about this. And I remember he said, well, this isn't up to a discussion, Judge. It's flooding north. It's flooding east. And we've got the Gulf of Mexico south. There ain't but one place we're going to be able to send them, and that's through your community.
I remember that.
And get ready.
Yeah.
And we did. Well, Judge, the reason I really wanted to bring you on is there's a lot going on along the Gulf of Mexico, along our shoreline, and you have been the driving force, you and your team over at the county, by soliciting, lobbying, begging, and all the above, of getting dollars down here to help a serious situation along our coast. Many people semi-remember the Intercoastal Waterway and how valuable that is. But in the Sargent area, we've got a severe, call it sinking, call it eroding, situation that's approaching enormous consequences. And tell us a little bit about how that started, because you've been at that probably since the day you came into office. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, we call it the Sargent Beach Project. And, as I was touring the county during my first few weeks in office, and even before that, you go to Sargent Beach and you talk to Constable Orton down there, and he takes you out and shows you where the shoreline was last year and the year before and where it is now. And it's very easy to see 50 feet of vanished shoreline, especially when you have a very nice large rock revetment wall out there to use as a landmark.
Yes.
Whereas, you had beach out, pick a number, but 5 years ago we had beach 150 feet out there.
Yes.
We now have a very nice seawall.
Yeah.
Because we've got the Gulf of Mexico lapping up against it, because the beach has eroded and deposited itself down in Matagorda, frankly, against the jetties.
It has.
Is where that's up. And so we've gone to work starting with some Ike funds, Hurricane Ike funds that I got back in 2009. Got the project engineered, spec'd, and bid and performed. We had to prove that we couldn't just put sand on it would stay there. GLO made us do that. So we spent about $5 million renourishing a beach that lasted about 6 months.
Right.
And at that point, Commissioner Pollard came in, and he sounded the alarm too. He's been a partner in this all along, and he said, Judge, we got to get this fixed. So we got another tranche of funds from Hurricane Ike. This time, we approached the Corps of Engineers to do modeling for us to help us understand what would stop the encroachment of the beach, the Gulf, on the beach there at Sargent, and help the sand start to accrete back out and build a beach again. The reason you and I both know that we have to do this, and I hope the public understands as well, is that Gulf Intracoastal Waterway is the main artery for commerce in the state of Texas. Now, some would argue that, well, maybe I-10 is, maybe I-20 up by Dallas is, maybe even 59 is. I beg to differ. There's probably more tonnage that traverses that Gulf Intracoastal Waterway every year than most of these highways, if not all of them.
Judge, it's billions and billions of dollars.
Tens of billions of dollars worth of commerce every year. Maybe hundreds of billions.
Maybe.
I expect it is hundreds of billions when you take market value of all that stuff that's moving up and down there. So if we were to allow, just think for a second, the Gulf to enter the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway at Sargent, God, we would have failed our state and our nation both.
Yes.
And, Commissioner Pollard nor I wanted that to happen, and so we went to work on the modeling piece. We got the Corps to do that. We paid for it with some Ike funds.
Okay.
And then we went to work, like you say, begging, borrowing, stealing. Not stealing. We didn't really get to steal anything, but we did get to beg a lot and borrow ideas and build partnerships is what I'll say. And through that, we've built a partnership with Atkins Engineering. They're a global engineering company. They specialize in maritime work.
Okay.
And they've done a heck of a lot of free work for us, getting us to the point where we could go in and work with the General Land Office. After Commissioner Bush won election, I interviewed for two of his committees, and I was placed on both of them, so I've gotten to work up close and personal with him in getting this Sargent Beach project identified as the number one project in Region 2 of the Gulf Coast of the state of Texas. He looks at it that way, and we all look at it that way. And since then, the Corps of Engineers, the General Land Office, and all the other state and federal agencies that have a say over any of that have partnered with us to get us to this point. We're just about to that point now where we're in final engineering. We're about to get a permit either this month or early next month from the Corps of Engineers to go in and build 5 segmented breakwaters just offshore of the worst eroding spot there in Sargent. This will be phase 1.
Okay.
And then there's what's called a groin. It's a terminal angled groin right at the mouth of Mitchell's Cut. And those of you who live in Sargent know where Mitchell's Cut is, and
Right.
know how important it is to put a backstop there, if you will, just east of it, so that we can catch any sand that may try to accrete down there and catch it on that backstop and start to build beach back out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once we've proved that this will work, we can go in for a phase 2 and a 3 and a 4. There's about 8 miles of beach that need these breakwaters.
Right.
But this is a pilot project of 5 breakwaters and a groin that's going to cost, we've got about $13.5 million appropriated from the General Land Office to build the breakwaters and the groin. And we've got a like number, perhaps a little less, depending on the tonnage or the yards, depending on what unit of measure they use. It could be cubic yards or metric tons. It could be either one. Of sand, beach quality sand, that we need to bring back from Matagorda and nourish that beach with behind those breakwaters. And we'll go ahead and nourish the historic stretches of the beach. We'll nourish about 5 or 6 miles of beach down there is what we'll do with this project.
Wow.
And my Atkins promise to me, and my hope is that we can break ground on this before Commissioner Pollard and I leave office. You may know that he's retiring at the end of the year when I do.
Right.
And we just like to see this thing get started, and then Judge Sieferman can finish it out along with Commissioner Essenbaum, who will be stepping in as Commissioner Pollard's successor.
Well, they've certainly.
I feel sure that'll be very important to them as well.
Well, and they've certainly been involved in listening and throughout the campaign. They did quite a bit of listening. I know Essenbaum. I've met him at Commissioner's Court weekly, first about every Monday, and then Bobby Sieferman, of course, we've been visiting at length. So looking forward to their leadership. But Mike, Jeff's got a question, but I wanted to add a lot of this. Let's talk a little bit, just briefly. So you've been using a lot of grant funding, not taxpayer funding, maybe a little bit, but certainly not the lion's share.
No, actually on the Sargent Beach project, we use no taxpayer funds.
Okay, wow. Wow.
No local ad valorem taxes. We have, Mitch, you may know that we have an offshore minerals production tranche of funds that the county gets every year by being a county entity or a coastal county. That's what I should say.
Along the Gulf Coast, right.
About $1.2 million, $1.3 million, $1.4 million.
Okay.
And the first 3 years of that we saved in anticipation of needing it for this particular project. So when we have to come in with a match, that's where we go. Those federal funds that are coming from offshore mineral production to Matagorda County. Now, all the other counties, Brazoria County, Galveston, Jefferson, Orange, they all get some of it too.
Sure.
But we have more coastline than anybody in the state of Texas, so this thing's based on coastline, and we have a pretty darn good share of it.
Good.
So that's what we've been using for our matches, and then I used a lot of Harvey disaster recovery funding as well. So we're using the federal funds and some state funds. The General Land Office has stepped up in a big way to help us with this funding, and so far the only matches we've made have been with GoMesa funds.
That's amazing.
So it's working well. Yeah. No cost to our local taxpayers.
Judge, I got here in 2005 when I got to the radio station, and I met you pretty quickly in that. And one of the and first of all, I want to say this. I want to say this about you. I'm not trying to butter up because I don't have to go to court or anything, so I'm not buttering you up because I have to go to court. But I felt it to me, my family and stuff. You've been a great friend to us and your wife as well. And we're gonna miss you in 9 months when you're not there no more. It's like I don't even know what I'm gonna do anymore. Now, besides me driving you nuts, what was one of your biggest accomplishments in your term here in Matagorda County?
In the entirety of the 4 terms?
Yes.
There's a lot of big things that we've done, but Mitch will probably concur. The biggest thing we did for the most people, I think, in Matagorda County was fend off the Environmental Protection Agency.
Right.
They suggested we should be a non-attainment county.
Right.
And Mitch and I, with the help of our industry partners and some very good environmental scientists and very good environmental lawyers, made the argument that there was no evidence to suggest that that was the case. And ultimately, the EPA believed this in Washington D.C., didn't they, Mitch?
They did. We made the trip there and went into the EPA, and the judge told him that he parked his horse downstairs
Yes, sir.
because he's from Texas. He really did.
Did he really?
Yo, no kidding.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he talked all about his horses.
But Jeff, I think that was the biggest and probably most profound. I
Yeah.
don't think it got the most coverage of anything that we did.
Right.
It certainly got a lot because we needed to muster public support for our fight,
Yeah.
and I believe we had every citizen of Matagorda County behind us. I don't know that there were any detractors on that effort because it's money out of everybody's pocket.
Everybody.
To go in non-attainment place. I can just tell you, I have a little Jeep out in El Paso, Texas. It's a non-attainment county. It cost me $70-something to get my Jeep inspected last year. It cost me like 14 or something down here. It's just
Right. And then if something happens in the emissions, you have to have it
yeah.
fixed or you have to park it.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You get no inspection
Big
sticker,
dollars.
and if you don't park it, you get hefty fines.
Right.
yeah.
Hefty.
No, I think that was just, I don't think we realized at the time, thank goodness, how hard it was going to be. And the other thing I don't think we realized is what it was going to cost our industries. I mean,
No, not until they started explaining it.
I know.
to us that,
I know.
you understand what the pollution control equipment costs on a place like this? No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And they tell you about 30 to 34%. I said, a third? They said, yeah, that's a rule of thumb. It's a third.
Wow.
It can be higher. It can be a little lower. It can be a lot higher,
Yeah.
depending on what it is that we're making. But it's saved our industries and our citizens, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Just Tenaris, for instance,
Right.
who I believe, Mitch, and maybe I'm wrong, I believe we got their attention by making the fight that we did and putting the effort up that we did, and then, of course, making the case for them coming here. But also, they weren't locating in a non-attainment county where they had to have extra scrubbers on their gas-fired furnaces and all that. They're a very clean industry, but still, they emit, whatever comes from burning gas, because they burn a lot of gas.
Mm-hmm.
But here, our air is clean.
Right.
We're in a good place, and they didn't have to spend that extra, $300 or $400 million.
Exactly. Judge,
It's been the case with a lot of.
Go ahead. Well, I remember Herman Kura testing us. If you remember, we had already been to the EPA, and we were telling him that we had friends in the EPA.
Yes.
And he said, really? He said, can you get me an appointment in Washington, D.C. with the EPA administration? And the judge said, sure, we'll just make a call. Made a call. And he said, how about next week? And Herman Kura looked, and it was one of those just astonishment looks, and said, okay. And so the judge and I and Herman Kura flew off to Washington, D.C.
Crawled on a plane, put us in a little old hotel. We got a bite of dinner, just a small bite. We had to go
Small
to bed
bite.
early morning. We had an appointment, didn't we?
We
Mitch?
did. It was absolutely. And then on the way back, it was like it was already done. It was an amazing deal. On the way, he didn't believe us. Afterwards, he was like, no, we were golden.
I can't make an appointment with my wife that quick.
I
you
know,
what I mean?
it was
That's-
amazing. It was
Jeez.
it was
Golly.
it was amazing, and but you're right, Judge. I mean, we sure told our story. We mapped it. We told it. I think Tenaris for Matagorda County is certainly one of a significant win for you, and certainly the city of Bay City, certainly Van Vleck School District.
Absolutely, you bet. You bet. They've got great brand new schools. Tenaris paid for about
Right.
80%, 87% the number, maybe 88, through their ad valorem taxes. As you know, you can't abate interest and sinking fund taxes. You have to pay them in totality. And so when Tenaris came, Van Vleck had no debt, and they took on the debt after Tenaris came. And Tenaris, to their credit, has paid every nickel they owe in ad valorem taxes every year to Van Vleck ISD. And, we're doing well with that. Beautiful new schools out there. excellent administration, excellent teachers and students, and it's just one of 5 great ISDs in our county. We're very fortunate. We are, Mitch. I agree.
Well, Judge, the other thing, and I don't want to keep you too long. We're wrapping up, but one of the other things that I think has been great under your watch has been you have put Matagorda County on the map. Years ago, when you introduced yourself, it was, where's Matagorda County? And
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what goes on when you're around the state now and you introduce yourself as Matagorda County Judge.
Yeah. Now that and the key to that is marketing.
Yes.
My majors in college were business and marketing, so I clearly understand how to do it from an academic standpoint, and I clearly understand how to do it after 29 years in business before I got here. And Mitch, you're right. Nowadays people approach me, whether it's a judge or a commissioner or just somebody I meet. We're known around the state as the most aggressive rural economic developers there are, and you get a lot of questions about how'd you land this and how'd you land that and what are you working on that. And I always tell them, well, the first thing we're doing is being sure that our STPs, Oxeas, LyondellBasell, Celanese, Williams companies, hospital districts, all those guys
Yes.
are healthy. That's
Right.
That's rule one. Take care of who got you here.
Yeah.
And then number 2, we are. We're working on some other things, guys, and we're going to get 1 or 2 of them a year, and we do.
Right.
The Tenaris thing got a lot of attention. STP 3 and 4 when
Right.
we suggested that they should do that in 2006, and they agreed and went out and got a permit, and we went up to Washington and presented that combined operating construction license to Senator Domenici, and it was a big day for Matagorda County. Now we didn't get that built, but we didn't let it keep us down. As you
Right.
recall, we reloaded and set our sights on another good project for Matagorda County. Whether it was the Sendero project, it was a $750 million project that fell apart when recession hit for funding, or the Tenaris deal, or Chemicals Inc.,
Right.
or
Environmental fluids, so many other
environmental
ones.
fluids. We brought in a very nice one out there on North 60, the Dunn family.
Dunn Heat Exchange,
brought,
yeah.
Was it Dunn Heat Exchange?
Dunn Heat Exchange, yes, sir.
Brought those here. They employ almost 100 people now.
Air Liquide.
Air Liquide is about wrapping up. They'll employ. Rome America, I saw their letter today announcing that they were in compliance with their abatement piece.
Yep.
They broke ground out at OQ. OQ is going to have about a $75 million bill. That the court just agreed to an abatement for Helix, Project
Yes.
Helix, a
Yes.
$250 million deal. It's going to bring at least 79 people here with $88,000 a year salaries.
Right.
And we're working on one much larger that we hope to announce here in the next few weeks.
And then
Mitch has been working on with us.
Right.
Mitch has been. It's important for the public to know, and Jeff, you know it, that Mitch is the last of the Mohicans that was here before me. He was working on this stuff when I got here, and he brought me up to speed and helped me understand the importance of it. And he's been working ever since.
Yeah.
And
both you guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Judge. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. It's just so important for us to be thankful for those public servants that we have who. Now, Mitch did put himself up for election once, but he continues to serve the public, even without. I'm not going to say benefit of an election, because sometimes I think it's easier without a title to do. And Mitch may tell me, "Well, Judge, you've lost your mind. It ain't never easy doing the stuff what I do." But Mitch does some stuff for us that's very hard, and we worked as a team for better than 15 years, Mitch. And
yes, sir.
I appreciate the heck out of it, brother.
Yes,
I do.
sir.
I appreciate D.C. Dunham and Owen Bludow, and now
Right.
Jessica Russell, Scott Hardwick, and the mayors of our city work with us so well.
We've got the dream team, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have people that want to move this little county ahead and not have it become another rural dustbin in the state of Texas because everybody's moved out.
Right.
The only way you turn that around is to create opportunities and a diverse set of opportunities for the many, not the few, but for the many.
Right.
And we've ascribed to that since day one for me, and Mitch was doing it before I got here. So,
Yeah.
Mitch, hats off to you, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
I can tell you this, Judge, that I know that you and Mitch, work a lot together, because I was in the HEB parking lot the other day, and I was backing my truck in, and who bestows sitting next to me is Mitch's lovely wife. So I backed in, and she beeped the horn, rolled down the window. We were talking for about a half hour. I said, "Where is Mitch right now?" She goes, "He's with his brother." And I'm like, "His brother?" And he goes, "Yeah, brother Nate." I'm like, oh, all right. So, and he said,
your wife's a saint, kind of like mine.
Yes.
She lets us go do the things we need to do for this county, and
Yeah.
it's just time. It's time for me, and in a few years it'll be time for you.
It will.
Spend those last few good years with your beautiful wife, like I'm going to do with mine and my two beautiful grandkids, and my son and daughter-in-law. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not tired yet. I'm just going to change gears. Is all I'm going to do.
Well, Judge, we don't lose you until December 31st, right?
That's right. No,
Okay.
I've got 9.5 months to go.
Right. You got a lot.
Yeah. No, a lot to do, a lot of irons in the fire. I promise some more good results before the end of the year. We still have another hurricane season to work through, and keep our eye on the tropics and be diligent and smart about that. We've also got another budget to prepare for the county.
Right.
And, those are important things.
Well, we've also got a graded drill with SDP.
We do.
To keep them operating. So a lot of 1,200 employees depending on us.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And we start prepping for that here, I believe, probably next month. We'll start having meetings for it and stuff. Right? We're prepping for it all the time. What am I talking about? There's a drill everywhere in the county.
Somewhere.
Every month, somewhere.
Well, I don't mind if you take a couple of courses when you're not on the pickleball court, and you take a couple of courses on how to run a little league. Don't forget that, because you've got that grandson coming up.
Oh yeah,
we've got to have that little league up strong, running strong.
Yeah. No, Cheryl and I'll get involved, and we'll stay involved in the life of the community through our grandchildren. Absolutely. It's what we did when our sons were alive.
Yes.
Not alive, when my oldest was alive, and then
Right.
his little brother. We worked hard to keep, summer track and pee-wee basketball and little league and all that going for those kids. And when we work for ours, well, the rest of the group benefits too. So
Amen.
It's not a particularly. Maybe it's a little selfish because you want that. You want what you had as a kid for your progeny, but also every kid that wants to play is going to have a team to play on, a uniform to wear.
I love it.
We'll be sure that happens.
Well, Judge, thank you so much. I appreciate the time. I know it gets kind of late sometimes for you, and we appreciate your honesty, and we appreciate all your hard work for all these years.
You bet. Well, I've quite enjoyed it. Mitch and Jeff, I've enjoyed immensely working with each of you, and I appreciate you guys, pulling the public in on the life of the county. This is good stuff, and just feel free to call anytime that I can help or answer a question, please.
We'll do it.
Thanks, Judge.
You bet. Thank you, gentlemen. God bless.
Bless you, too. There you go, Judge Nate McDonald, Matagorda County Judge Nate McDonald. We're going to take a short little break, and we will be back with more coming up here on Inside Texas in just a minute, so don't go nowhere.
Your home may have damage covered under your homeowner's insurance policy. Don't trust your insurance company's opinion on what you're entitled to. Let the experts at All Pro Claim Services conduct a free, no obligation home inspection. We work for you, not the insurance company, and don't get paid unless you do. We can help even if you have been unfairly denied or underpaid. The insurance company has experts representing their best interests. Shouldn't you? Call me personally, Hunter Kennedy, at 979-200-2018. 979-200-2018.
Thanks for calling God's Fur Babies Mobile Pet Grooming. How can I help you? Oh, sure. We can get you set up for cut and shampoo right here in our mobile unit. Yes, sir. We can travel within 50 miles of Matagorda County.
Nails? Sure can. We can get you all spiffed up for your big night out. Yeah, we can do kitty, but prefer to do larger animals. Kitty don't like water. God's Fur Babies Mobile Pet Grooming. Call today at 979-530-2860. That's 979-530-2860. Looking for fresh Gulf shrimp? How about a juicy ribeye steak? Then you're looking for Buddy's Seafood and Deli in Bay City and Matagorda, Texas. Buddy's is a local favorite. Fresh seafood caught by Buddy himself right here in the Gulf of Mexico. Also, fresh Texas meats cut to your liking. Check out their weekly specials, plus their Matagorda bait and fishing shop. It's Buddy Seafood on Avenue K in Bay City and in Matagorda on Highway 60.
Push the buttons, dummy. There you
Push
go.
the buttons.
I got it. Anyway,
Put a big sign up.
push the buttons, dummy. Right there, right above your head. I'll put it over there. Get it started. Great conversation with the judge.
Yes.
It was you and I and him could probably talk for hours. Just
my God.
go off because there's
yes.
so much stuff that we cover. To talk, about the storm, especially, but so much that I learned how things operate with you guys and stuff like that. But man, just a lot of stuff. Well, we got to get him on again because there was other questions I wanted to ask him about certain things.
We can do that.
About that oyster reef at the Palacios.
Yeah,
I wanted
it's
to talk,
huge. That's right.
It's a huge thing, and I wanted to talk about that. And people have asked about it, so I thought it was pretty good. But anyway, joining us on the phone right now is the talented mayor of the great city of Bay City, Robert Nelson. How you doing, Robert?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
We're doing good.
Mayor, thank you so much for calling in. We're trying a new experiment here with our podcast radio show / whatever it is the young people call this these days.
I have no idea. I'm not a young people.
Oh well, no, you're kind of in the same group as myself, and of course Jeff. He's really young. He's so young. He doesn't.
I think you
understand.
guys stopped aging, and I'm just creeping right over the top of you.
Man.
I think. Yeah, I can feel it.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for coming on. This is just a little deal. This is inside Texas. It's inside politics. It's inside the Beltway information. We hope sometimes it's just to inform the public on what's going on. And I know you've been really, really busy in the last couple of weeks, but just tell us a little bit. Give us a snapshot of what it's like now in the city of Bay City. We've undergone, I guess, a 180 in direction since you were elected, and going on, help me, Mayor, going on 2.5 years now, right?
May will be 3.
3 years in May. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah, it's been my term is just about up.
Oh wow, that's unbelievable. And so you filed for re-election.
Yes, sir, I did.
And there's not been an opponent for you or any other of the council members' races. So we have, basically, to say it simply, we have one council member for every position, and then you is the candidate for mayor, correct?
No, so there were three positions.
Right.
So 2 were up for re-election, and 1 was not running again. So those 3 plus myself, that is correct.
So without a contested election, the city does not have to, because of recent state law, the city does not have to hold an election. So for all practical purposes, you are the mayor-elect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
That is true.
Excellent. Which should save the citizens of Bay City a little bit of money. What, about $10,000, $12,000, $15,000?
At least.
Okay.
That'll be good.
That will be.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on. You're probably one of the most hands-on mayors that we've had in a long time. And although you get that obscene salary of absolutely nothing, I remember You know, when we talked about a city manager and moving the mayor back to what the council members, or maybe a little bit more of what the council members make, a lot of people don't understand that for all practical purposes, that this is a volunteer position, right?
Yes, when it comes to finances, yes.
Yes, absolutely. I think I don't remember what it was, but I remember Carolyn getting a little stipend for the 8 years that she was on council, and I do remember, by the way, and I have to say it, that was the 8 years in a row that I had to pay the income the IRS because of that stupid stipend. And I haven't had to pay the IRS since. But that's a whole nother radio show, Mayor. I don't want to go there.
No, but things are going. I think things are going well, Mitch. I think things are going in the right direction. I really enjoy what I do. My heart's in it, and I'm in it for the right reasons.
Yes,
and I want to see Bay City. Bay City has a lot of potential for growth. That's obvious by the amount of businesses that are coming in.
Yes, sir.
And I want to support that and help the city grow and bring in things that people really want. But we have to be in a position to meet the criteria of the businesses that the citizens want to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those is population.
Yes.
So we have to increase the population, and the best way to do that is with rooftops, and that's what we're working on.
Massive effort on that, and I want to congratulate you and your staff and the council for prioritizing housing developments and basically spending an inordinate amount of time and staff resources headed in that direction. I mean, if the public knew the number of hours that your staff is putting into these projects, it would scare them, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. But that's what it takes to make that happen. And it's obvious that's what we want to happen, and we're willing to put forth the effort. Staff is willing to put forth the effort to get that done. Trying to get we had to get a PID created and do some modifications on the TERS. We have to create another TERS board, and we had to change some members out and the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But we're moving forward. I mean, this is what it takes. It takes hard work. You got to roll your sleeves up and get it done. And that's what we're doing.
It takes hours. It takes teamwork. It takes the opportunities. So the council meets twice a month, and I've been at council meetings that you've managed very, very well that last an hour, and then of course there's been those council meetings that tend to take a little bit longer, but y'all are always at the helm. You've got a good crew with your council member team, don't you?
We do. We work together. We all want the same things basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're all pushing the cart in the same direction. And we don't agree on absolutely everything, but we work it out. We figure out what's best solution for the city of Bay City, and that's what we do. But at the end of the night, we can walk away and shake hands and still be friends.
That's great.
And I appreciate that.
That's kind of how Carolyn and I do. We don't agree on everything, but I acquiesce to everything she says she wants, and then I get to stay at the house. So I get it. I that's exactly the way it is.
And most of the time it's a doghouse, isn't it?
Yeah. But, Mayor, I just wanted to drop in and talk a little bit about the city finances. So there are, I don't know how many city employees, city residents, let's say 18,000. And so I imagine you have 18,000 different versions of how they want their tax money spent and their idea of what they're paying for. I read a lot on Facebook, and it's got to be a challenge satisfying every little wish and whim out there, but keep the tax rate, as y'all have, at a reasonable level. But tell me about budgeting and what goes in the thought process behind all that.
Oh, it's a lot of work, Mitch, that goes into the budgeting. We start that process actually the 1st of April. and it has to be ready by October 1st or actually September 30th. So there's a lot of work that goes in. There's a lot of hours. We have a lot of extra meetings. We have a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan look ahead that we do every year.
Wow.
And then we take that and figure out what we're going to do actually in the next year and try to stick to that. And it's difficult. So anybody that drives around will realize here in the last couple of months, we've had an enormous amount of water leaks, and we're getting a lot of road repairs done, and all that takes money.
Yes.
So and sometimes we go over the budget. We try not to, but citizens want things done. They don't care about what the budget says. They want things done. So they pay their taxes,
right,
and they want to see progress, and we're trying. So it's a difficult balance. We all work together. We have a great finance director,
yes,
who keeps us on track, and
award-winning, really.
Yes, absolutely. The whole financial staff, they get awards almost every year for the work that we do. So I would want the citizens to know that we are fiscally responsible and spending their money wisely. We don't do foolish things. We try to spend the money wisely. There's a lot of things that sometimes don't get done that citizens want done, but we try to prioritize everything and get the most important things done first, and that includes water leaks. So we have a ton of water leaks, and we have to prioritize them and get them done first. And sometimes you fix one and 2 more break. So that's what a lot of people don't see.
Well, it's underground. It's not shiny. It's not new, and it's not exciting. But it is so very necessary to the infrastructure of our community.
Absolutely, and we can talk a little bit about the infrastructure too, if you want to.
Yes, please share with us, Mayor.
We're working with the Texas Water Development Board. They've been very helpful. They actually came to our council meeting on Tuesday night. Okay. They're trying to help us out. It's over $50 million that we're spending on infrastructure.
Wow.
So we're getting 2 new water wells. We're getting new water lines, upgrading the water lines, some sewer lines. The wastewater treatment plant is being upgraded. Okay. And some other work. So, we're trying to get to a position where things are running well. We know there's an arsenic problem with one of the wells that came out in the reports. Okay. And we currently have that one shut down, and we're using the other ones and trying to figure out how to get that taken care of.
Well, Mayor, that is great stuff, and like I said, it's not shiny and it's not exciting, but it certainly is necessary to our health and safety as well. I mean, when you think of the water and you think of that's what we drink, but that's also what our fire departments use for fire suppression. There's an awful lot to having a great system. Mayor, one of the things that, and everybody knows my opinion on the city manager question back before the election, and my statement was, they always ask me, what would a city manager cost? What would it cost the city? And my answer was always, it better not cost us anything. They better be able to bring in grants and to bring in and save enough dollars that it's not costing the city anything. Yes, we're paying a salary, but when y'all just brought in a $50-something million grant from the Water Development Board, I want the citizens of Bay City to know that will pay her salary for quite a while.
Now let's not. It's not a grant.
Okay.
It's a low, very low percentage loan. There is a possibility for forgiveness.
Yes, right. Thank you for correcting me. You're absolutely right.
I didn't want that wrong information to get out.
Okay, good. So a certain amount of it may not have to be paid back, but there will be a certain amount that will be free money, so to speak. Low interest.
We hope there will be some loan forgiveness. That would help us out tremendously.
Good.
But, it's got to be paid for. somehow.
Okay.
And that's usually paid for through utilities, because that's what's being upgraded are the utilities.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people are upset about their water bill, but this is what's taking care of that.
Okay. Well, and for so many years, I would say, and this is my opinion, not a political statement toward the city, but in my opinion, for years there was a maintenance deferral, and the interest of not spending money, preventive work was not done for years. And Mayor, I don't want to put you on the spot and say you agree with that or not, but in my opinion, for many years prior to your administration, prior to several administrations, there really wasn't a day-to-day or yearly look at preventive maintenance. Is that a fair statement?
I would say there was some deferred maintenance.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's brought out by looking at things that are not working now, and
Okay.
how long they've been broken, or how many years we've been putting Band-Aids on it.
Right.
And it comes to a point you can only put a Band-Aid on for so long, and then things have to be replaced. So,
Absolutely.
But my questions with a lot of this new equipment is, do we have a maintenance budget for it?
Okay.
And that has to be planned ahead. So when you're putting in new equipment, within 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, something has to be replaced, something has to be repaired, but you have to have the money to do that. So that's part of our maintenance budget. So going forward with this new equipment, we should have money in the budget to take care of it so it doesn't break down.
Well, I think that's exciting, and of course, you've got a financial background. You're as far as family budgets and as far as working with others on educating them about, I would say, dollars and cents, and making good choices. So you're moving. You're a certified financial, not advisor, but coach. That's right, coach.
Yes.
So you're taking those lessons and moving them into you're taking those lessons and moving them into the city budget as well.
Yeah, but you have to put it all together. So
yes,
I have that. I have a maintenance background from working in the plants.
Okay.
I also have
okay.
a business background from owning many businesses.
Yes.
So the city is not a business, but it has to be run like a business.
Okay.
So all of that experience and education helps me with that. And it helps me also understand when we're having conversations with the directors in their different departments, I have a good understanding of what they're speaking about, and then I can talk to them intelligently. So when they're explaining to me, I understand.
I got you.
And then together we can come up with solutions.
That's brilliant. One of the things that I do think that has happened lately, well, I'd say lately, in the last 3 years, that's lately at my age, Mayor, so lately is 3 years ago, is that you've really elevated those department heads to be real leaders in the community. And real leaders on their job, I guess, not in the community, but for the community. So you're really holding their feet to the fire to be the best that they can be.
Yes, but you have to trust them.
Okay.
You have to give them. You have to have faith in them. You have to give them your trust, and they have to trust you. So when they're making decisions, they're making wise decisions. When they come to myself or now the city manager, they come with the correct information. And like I said earlier, you can have intelligent conversations, and they know what needs to be done. And being trusted, it's a lot easier for them to make those decisions without having any fear.
Well, that's fantastic. I like that last statement, without any fear. And so it's taken a while. You just told me 3 years, so in May, and so it has taken a while to build that trust and to build that team. And I want to say, as a resident and a taxpayer of the city of Bay City, Mayor, I want to say thank you to you, the council, the city manager, and those department heads for what y'all are doing.
Yeah, they really have Bay City at heart. They really, really do. It's not just a job for them. It's personal in the fact that they take pride in their jobs and they want to do what's best for the citizens of Bay City, and that's the truth.
Mayor, in that realm, I'm just looking at the Bay City Tribune and front page above the fold. We're talking about the 16th Street pool. Can you talk a little bit, or is there anything that we should know? I know you're working very closely with the Bay City ISD, whether those that are being quoted in the newspaper understand it or not. I do find it interesting that coaches and parental leaders are talking to the press without really knowing a lot about what's going on. This strict, and it was funny, Mayor, and I'll have to say it. I was reading the paper this afternoon, and the mayor knows, and the public knows. My wife was on council many years ago, and she looked at the headlines and she said, "That pool was in bad shape when I was on council," and so it shouldn't be a surprise to the citizens that there's major needs at the city pool, correct?
Yes, that is correct. The pool is somewhere in the neighborhood of 50-plus years old.
Yes.
We've been patching it. We're trying to keep it going for the youth, for the school,
yes,
for the swim team. But it's at a point where it's going to require a lot of work.
Yes.
And
we're talking millions and millions and millions, aren't we?
Millions of dollars.
Yes.
Yes.
Not a couple of thousand where we replace a knob or a hose.
No, multiple millions.
Yes.
Nobody has that kind of money right now.
Yes.
Again, we have to prioritize, and it is a priority for our students. I understand that.
Yes.
But we have to. The city cannot do it by itself.
Right.
So we are trying to negotiate with other entities to see what we can do. We're not just giving up on it. Not yet.
Right. I got you.
Okay. So I don't know. I didn't see the paper today. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what people are saying. I'm not on Facebook.
Right. I understand.
And I don't know what's on Facebook.
Mayor, I'll give you a little bit to stay off of Facebook, Mayor.
Don't go there.
No,
it's a dark, dark place.
The best that I can do,
sure,
along with our team, along with the city manager, we try to make the best decisions we can, financially sound, wise decisions that help all the citizens of Bay City and not just one group.
Mayor, let's capitalize on that. All the citizens of Bay City. And I'd fault myself sometimes. I don't have any children in Bay City ISD, but I see that check I write every year with taxes, and yet I have no kids. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mind paying my property taxes to Bay City ISD because we need to educate those kids.
That's right.
It's very, very important. So it's for all of Bay City. I love that statement, Mayor.
I've always said that from the very beginning. Yes. I want what's best for the entire city. I'm not looking at any one group, entity, category. It's all of the citizens. That's who I work for, all the citizens of Bay City.
I got you. Excellent. Well, Mayor, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate the transparency. We certainly appreciate the time for you to come on and explain a little bit about the what I call real world, not fantasy world where everybody wants their little pet peeve taken care of. But you're looking over everything, prioritizing, and doing the very best with a very sound staff and a very cooperative and a very professional city council.
No, I kept quiet.
Oh,
because I had like 900 of them, but I got to see them in person.
Oh, all right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
Well, one day when we get the studio,
I haven't got to see him. How long has it been since I was in your office? About a year and a half, 2 years?
At least.
Yeah, let's go another 2.5 before you see.
Well, health. My health for the past 2 years.
That's the be honest. I have called you, haven't I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I even said Merry Christmas to him too. I sent him
Okay.
off there.
All right.
You know, sometimes you didn't respond right away, but I let that go.
Well, he's busy. He's
I
a busy
know.
mayor.
I know. I let it go.
And it's Jeff Michaels.
That's all right. But no, I think
The city manager, she works really hard,
Yeah.
and she has the best interests of Bay City at heart as well, and she does very well with working with our citizens.
Well, Mayor, tell her that I would love to have her on as well. We would love to interview her, and maybe either next Thursday or maybe the Thursday after. I know she does. I know she laments over these decisions. I've talked to her, and I know that she doesn't take any of this lightly. In fact, I know the pool issue has been one of those that keeps her up at night, as well as it does you.
Yes, it is. We have to make difficult decisions, and some people are going to be upset about it, and
Yeah.
I apologize to them, but we have to do what's best for everybody.
Amen. Well, Mayor, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate your opportunity, your time, and especially your leadership, and I look forward to 3.5 more years with you.
yeah, man.
Well, I look forward to 9 years total,
Yeah.
because we've already got you running again.
Don't jinx it.
No,
Mitch. Come
right. No,
on.
we've already got
Yeah.
him running again in 3.5 more years.
That's
but
right. That's right.
that's all right.
Blow your road. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Mayor,
Take
thank
care.
you.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Here you go.
Jeff, let
Yeah.
me tell you,
Yeah.
I was nice to the mayor.
Yes.
But when I read in the paper that there's 150 families that depend on this pool, and they want us to spend multi-million dollars
Yeah.
for 150 families,
Yep.
I don't know they understand the big picture. I get the swim teams. I get that there's 6 swim teams. I get all of that.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. They're not digging deep enough into the problem.
No, they're not. The thing with a city, it's a city pool, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how many families live in the city?
A lot.
Right. So it shouldn't be 150 families.
Right.
It should be a city issue.
Now, I'll tell you what. If they want to take that 150 families
Yes.
and add up all of that money that they spend in city taxes,
Yeah.
then we could probably put that $200,000 toward the pool.
You know what? Here's something in my town. Growing up when I was a kid, Allentown.
Yeah.
Mack Trucks was there. Okay, that
Okay.
was the capital of Mack Trucks was Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Right.
Okay. Well, they had Mack Pool, which was right across the street from the main headquarters.
Okay.
And Mack Pool had some issues, but you know, a lot of the people that lived in the town that worked at Mack Trucks had kids,
Yeah.
so they wanted to have that pool there.
Right.
Well, they ended up repairing that pool and
Okay.
putting in 4 others
Ah.
that they weren't used so doggone much, you know, or whatever, or they would close one down and you still had 3 to go. Right now, there's only, 2 pools here in
2,
the city.
that's correct.
Right? And
Yep.
I've DJ'd at both of them.
Okay.
Had parties
Okay.
at both of them. But to maintain something like this is so expensive. Chlorine alone is ridiculous. And if anybody owns a pool, they can tell you. You know, you have shock, you have chlorine, then you have
Oh,
the sticks
geez.
and the maintenance. You don't
And
have
then
enough of that.
The algae, anti-algae.
The algicide, right? Then the pump goes out. Then the
Yeah.
hoses break, and you got to do it. It's very expensive to run.
Don't
a
forget
pool.
about cleaning it
Now here's
every Saturday morning for
Right.
the rest of your life.
Right.
I owned a pool.
yeah, I know, I did too. I can tell you everything about a pool. Now here and where I live, where you know where I live,
Yes.
I got to maintain that pool.
I got
okay,
you. I got you.
And that
I
was a
got
green
you.
slime hole, and now it's
Oh,
beautiful.
Okay.
So, in order to this project here with the pool, okay, this is what I say about the pool, okay. If the funds are there, okay, or you want to get a sponsorship from a company
Right.
for it to help build the pool,
Yes.
if you got big companies and their people are staying here with it,
Yes.
you can get. Hey, it's the Lyondell Pacell STP Tenaris pool, whatever.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
right.
have to be the Bay City pool. So, with that being said,
Right.
then you charge a flat fee to get in,
Right.
or a season pass. You
Yeah.
stick with that. You don't let your buddies come in. Hey, you know. And I've seen it.
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
I've seen. You can't do that because every penny and every time someone jumps in that
Counts.
pool, it counts. So that would be my saying. Also, The national swim team, and I don't know if anybody knows this, and I may talk to the mayor. I'll talk to you about it too. But I didn't realize this until you talked about it tonight.
Oh, okay.
But the national swim team goes around and has actual grants and funding for city pools.
Okay.
So Philadelphia did it. New York did it. New York had closed like 25 pools down.
Okay.
And reopened 12 of them on the grant.
Yes.
On the national swim team funding. So the national swim team, which is our swim team for the Summer Olympics and stuff like that, has grants that come to because they want kids from local communities. So there's money there for that.
Right.
And, you know, I know our pool, you know, you look at it, just by looking at it, you know, a picture from far away looks great.
Yeah.
Until you get up on it.
I will tell anybody, I will not walk into the mechanical room.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the walls are about to cave in and the ceiling's about to cave in.
You know, it's like a picture.
I was there.
If you take a picture of me from far away, I look great.
You look good.
But you get close.
Wow,
you got a lot of cracks and dents.
And
so,
Jeff, give us the number. I want to have a conversation with folks that want to talk about this subject. Yeah. We can make email us where?
Yeah, email us. You can email me at jeff@gulfcoast1radio.com. That's Jeff at gulfcoastradio.com. You can also email us at gulfcoastradio@gmail.com. You can do that. You can call and leave a message or call us live on the air at 979-325-7016, right? Yeah, there it is. 979-325-7016. 7016, and I know we're running late a little bit today.
I know.
We're running, and that's fine. That's fine. If somebody wanted to call in now, because we have quite a few listeners on a whole lot of different pages right now.
Well, and the idea
so you're more than welcome to call.
Let's fix this. Let's don't run to the newspaper and complain.
Right.
Let's fix it. Now,
I think that's a problem.
That's
a huge problem.
That's a huge problem.
Everybody's running to the wrong people, raising the wrong hell to the wrong people, and it needs to go to the right people. Okay, so our Bay City Parks and Recreation, I know, runs this pool.
Yes.
Okay, they take care of that pool.
Yes.
I know that as a fact, Jack.
Yes.
In fact, I worked with a lot of the kids that actually worked there when they were younger at Schulman's, you know, moving on.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
So I've talked Kelly Pennywitt and Sean and everybody. You know, I did things at this pool.
Yeah.
And they tried to do fundraisers. The problem is, okay, this is the two things you get. I didn't know about it.
Right.
Or I don't go to the pool.
I don't go to the pool. Right.
But you will see that same people that didn't know about it or go to the pool at that pool someday later on.
Okay.
And I've seen it. So here's the deal.
This is fixable.
This is fixable.
And I want people to understand, I guess, why I'm so
building
passionate.
a new. This is it. We're not building another moon.
Well, so there, and I was going to tell you, I've been involved in every discussion from a large project in the lot of millions, and almost $21-23 million. I've looked at that project and that thought process, and I've looked at what it takes just to rebuild this in the same location. And I know the exact amount of money that's available from the city.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't have contacts with the school board in the school situation. I don't know what they're willing to do. But everybody, all of our elected officials, are sitting there and they're working every day on this. It's keeping them up at night. They know these school swim teams need a place, but there are a lot of discussions going on. Now, it may not be to every parent on the swim team. But if you're involved in a proactive, positive way, this has a solution.
Sure it does.
This pool
situation
has a solution.
But it takes work to get the solution solved.
And working together, and it takes cooperation, and it takes working with people and getting a consensus.
Right.
Because every school board member ran and got elected on something they wanted to do to benefit our kids and our parents.
When they were designing the new Bay City High School,
Yes.
And the other schools.
Yes.
Was there any talk of putting in a pool somewhere else?
It was all they could do to get a bond issue passed for a school, much less
Add a pool.
anything else.
Right.
Because there, in the years past, there was a bond issue for a new stadium.
Right.
There was a bond issue for all kinds of things that did not pass. So when it came up for a bond, but you have to understand the times then, there was no talk of growth.
Right.
There was no talk of expansion. There was no talk. I mean, the tax rates weren't what they are today.
Right.
Because we were a more rural community, and our values, land values, and our incomes were quite a bit less. When I got here, which was before the bond election, we had 17% unemployment, Jeff.
Yeah.
Things didn't look rosy.
Right.
And to get this bond issue passed that built that built the new elementary schools and built that was quite an undertaking.
Right.
And so, no, there's not been discussions that I'm aware of in bond issue talk of a swim pool.
Okay.
That there was talk of they were able to get a baseball field built. They were able to get the softball field built. I think there's probably room one day for a pool opportunity.
Well, how about this? Just a thought. How comes the school district, the ISD, okay? How many schools we got in this county?
So 5 ISDs.
5 ISDs. So why couldn't the ISD take over this pool?
So that's a
Right?
great question.
The ISD could take over this pool, have their swim teams there, not make it public, and use the one public pool that we have, and possibly build a new place for a pool. Because if this is so bad,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that everything got to be replaced, wouldn't it be less expensive in the long run to build a newer pool that would last longer for the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
That's right.
and then the ISD would take this one over,
Right.
repair it, make the repairs needed for the swim team to use and stuff like that. And then that one's paid for with the taxes from the ISD.
So all of that's on the table. But here's the problem: building a new pool is expensive these days.
Yes, it is.
And so here's the question: do we spend? And part of the article talks about this pool being operated in the 70s. That's 50 years ago.
Yes, 50 years.
50 years.
Yeah.
Plant lives.
I feel it.
Yeah. Plant lives are talked about in 50-year increments without major renovations.
Yes.
So the question, I guess, and for me as a taxpayer and somewhat of a community individual that's active, is do I want somebody to spend $6 million on the 16th Street pool, or do I want a brand new pool for $8 million? And you talk about the 5 ISDs. The only other that I understand, the only other school district with a swim team is Van Vleck.
That's correct.
And they use this.
Yes, they do.
But it's difficult to talk a Palacios ISD into supporting a pool in Bay City, Texas.
I understand. And I understand that.
And maybe you could get a Tidehaven if they had a swim team. Maybe even a Matagorda now that they're talking about a high school
Right.
To come in. But the dollars are not.
The dollars are not there.
They're not equally.
Right.
There's some dollars there.
Right.
So that's what I said. It's going to take people coming together. It's going to take leadership.
Yes.
It's gonna have to talk about Todd. In my opinion, those ISDs, and I'm not going to name a name. I think I just did, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want to pull in their ISD? So why contribute to?
Well,
a
you know
pool
that excuse
that's
is
quote unquote.
The excuse is always going to be, well, we don't have a swim team.
Well, I know, but you could
You know
have
what I mean?
one.
You could,
and
have,
I think swimming is amazing. I've been swimming since Lord knows when. I grew up on the water.
Before you were born.
Before I was born, I was swimming in the womb. They tell me I don't have memories of it. But I'm just saying this can be fixed. It's going to take people stepping up to the plate. And I think they are.
Yeah.
They're just not going to the press every day and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ISD is internally looking at what they can do.
Right.
They're pretty capped now.
Yes.
This is Mitch Thames's version.
Right.
And I'm not a financial coach.
Mm-hmm.
But when they passed that bond issue for all the new elementary schools, the new junior high, the additions to the high school, they're pretty much borrowed everything they can borrow.
Right.
I know the city borrowing all of the money they've borrowed is pretty much capped out at borrowing for the time being.
But isn't this a part of infrastructure that we would need in order to have other people that we're building new housing, we're building new developments, we're building all this, to get the taxes from that and all that other stuff? How hard would it be to get people to understand, saying, hey, we got 2,500 more new homes here, 1,000 homes and 2,500 people living in those homes that, they're looking for a place to go. Not everybody.
I know.
And you're going to get this. I can hear it now because I've lived here long enough to hear every excuse known to man. Well, we live this close to the beach. Why don't we just go down to the ocean?
We can just swim
it doesn't
Matagorda
work.
Bay.
You're right. Just swim in Matagorda Bay.
In Matagorda Bay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, let the gaff fish
Well,
get to
I will tell you, so brand new citizens moving into a brand new master plan subdivision that's landscaped and
they're going to have their own pool.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't know. I mean, they could.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, people nowadays want new and shiny things.
Yes, they do. They do.
And this isn't new and shiny.
No.
1970 built. And I also happen to know that it was a Parks and Rec grant, and so that piece of property has to be a park or a pool.
Correct.
So when they tear that up, they can't sell that.
Right.
They still have to keep that. They don't have to keep the pool there, but they have to keep it as a park.
So this was built on a Parks and Rec grant 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
And they can't get another one?
They can, probably. I mean, there are probably grants out there.
Yeah. I know there is.
In the $25,000 to $50,000 range,
right,
when we're talking about a $13 million project.
Yes. Yeah.
Down from a $21 million project.
Right. I get it. I understand it.
It's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
All at once.
There's a lot of fingers.
A lot of things.
That
and
nobody out on it. Yeah.
Nobody wants. I don't want the swim team of the Bay City ISD. They're world renowned.
Right.
I mean, the swim program has been phenomenal.
Yes.
Probably exceeding, and I'm going to get real trouble for this. The swim team success has probably exceeded some of even the best Bay City Black Cat football teams. This swim team is solid. It produces. It's got good coaching. It's got great parents.
Yeah.
But the fix, it's that deferred maintenance.
Yep.
Nothing has been done.
We talked about it earlier.
We talked about it.
Yeah. That
now we got to pay the piper.
It's like your car. If you're going to buy a new car,
yes,
you're going to use it. You got to put money into it to keep it maintained the way that you want all the time. If you let it go, it's gonna go.
I want to talk. I know there's talk on Facebook. I know there's talk in the community. I want to talk. I want to talk to folks on this show.
Yeah.
I want to get down and ask questions and offer help. I mean, I want to be a part of the solution.
Open mind.
I have $12 in my pocket right now. 12.
You got 12 more than I got.
$12, and I'm here to solve the problem.
I have that new bank. I started banking at that new bank.
New bank.
Yeah, that International Bank of Lydia. You ever hear that one?
I know that bank.
Yeah, that's a savings.
Let's talk about this. Let's find a solution.
Yeah.
We can throw rocks all day long.
Yeah.
Or we can talk about how bad the city is.
Yeah.
We can talk about how bad the ISD is. We can talk about why isn't there other ISDs involved. I mean, I will tell you that I talked to the superintendent of Van Vleck. He said, I've got a solution for Van Vleck to be involved. Build the pool on the Van Vleck ISD campus. He'll donate the land. Well, that's a solution.
Yeah.
Now,
That helps a little.
not a lot of people are going to like that solution of it being in Van Vleck.
Right.
But there are solutions. We can find it. I know every elected official on every side, they all want what's best,
Sure.
but it's got to make financial sense.
Yes, it does. It has to be.
And
financial
right
sense.
now, not only, Jeff, and I'm going to end at this, promise.
No, it's
Not only is it the cost of building the pool, whatever you build, you've got to maintain.
Yes.
That's dollars and cents.
Yes.
Every month it was $60 in chemicals to run a little residential pool.
Yeah.
I mean, a pool in my house.
It's over 1,000 some. It's almost 2,000 or something for this pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's astronomical. So
Yeah.
even a new one,
Yeah.
you got salaries, you've got a manager,
Yeah.
you've got expenses. So let's talk about this in a rational way,
Right.
with rational reasons and rational proposals. And I want us on this radio station to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the folks that are listening and tonight, and if it's your first time listening, we appreciate you tuning into it. You know, and we don't take a whole lot of commercials. I take one commercial break in the middle, and that's all right. It's not about commercials. It's, you know, everybody that's volunteering right now on
Yeah,
the commercials.
right.
Nobody's paying to be on here.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I try to help out the smaller businesses and the communities, and you want to get noticed, fine. Email me, jeff@gulfcoastoneradio.com. All right. And next week's show, we'll talk a little bit more about
Okay,
this.
okay.
Let's see if we can't ramp up some people that
Okay.
are for it or opposed to it
Let's
or
do it.
whatever.
I can do
you know,
that.
and have our listeners call in as well. So
Love it.
If you have
If
something,
you want a sponsor or you want a commercial,
Yeah.
I'll sell you a commercial.
there you go. He'll
I'll
sell
sell you a commercial on the radio show.
That's right. He'll sell you swampland in Florida.
I will sell ice to an Eskimo.
Eskimo. This
if
guy does it. I
I'm
know.
not-
I know you do. But
You know, and we talked. I read a little bit about, and you mentioned our industrial partners sponsoring or
yeah.
helping.
And they do. And let me say this too.
Has anybody asked them?
I probably not.
No.
You know, but I don't know what the afraid is in a lot of that. You know me.
I know.
I'll go and talk to whoever,
I
but
know.
I'm going to go to the top. If I don't get the right answer there, I'm going to go to the next person up.
Right.
If I don't get the answer there, I'm going to go to the next person up.
Right.
Okay? You're going to get 500 no's before you get one yes.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
And it takes work to get
Work,
something.
hard work.
Hard work to get to that point where you're talking about 11, 12, 15 million dollars, but talk to people.
And Jeff, there are people working hard on this.
Yeah.
I have been to multiple meetings with 25 and 30 people there lamenting over this for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
This isn't new.
And what's going to be harder is we're coming out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Businesses are starting to get back on their feet again.
Right.
You know, they got every Tom, Dick, and Harry asking to borrow money from them.
Well-
But if these businesses that are here want to be a part of this community,
Right.
then they need to be a part of the community.
But they need they need a promotion and they need
Yes.
a product.
Yes, they do.
They're not just going to call them and go, "Hey, Mitch, I've been with the chamber for 18 years. Nobody's ever called me up and said, "Hey, Mitch, I've got another $30,000 I'm not using.
Right,
Is
right,
there any
exactly.
way
Right.
the chamber could use it?"
Right.
That hadn't happened,
No, it doesn't.
and it isn't going to happen.
No, it's not.
I'm on the phone with them going, "I need $3,000."
Yeah, that's right.
And they'll listen to me.
Sure.
So,
But you got to have your I's dotted and your
yeah,
T's
you
crossed,
better
baby.
have it ready.
You got to. You can't. We you know, over the years, thousands of dollars that we've raised for certain people.
Yeah.
You know, our toy drive. There's a good example. Our toy drive.
Right.
You know, we were the first people ever at our radio station back in then to get every a toy, at least one toy. It ended up being 6 toys apiece for every single kid
Right.
of the names that we were given from the group up in Wharton County.
All right.
And it was 6. It was how many kids? 100 kids. I don't know. It was a lot of kids.
Yeah. 300.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Every kid
Yeah.
got 6 toys.
Right.
Every single one. Plus
All right.
the families down here.
Right.
That we went and took care of as well, with the help of the fire departments, with Vic and
But you asked.
I
And
did.
you were on the radio every morning.
The big mouth of the South, or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. You can call me anything you want.
I remember going to the store, buying games,
and
gifts,
stopping by the
and
station.
stopping by the
yes,
station.
and people did it all
'Cause
day
you
long.
asked.
Yes, yeah, and it wasn't. You have to. You can't be afraid to ask. I ask all the time. People, you know what it is? You know what it is? We're in a society where people don't like that word. No.
I know, right?
No.
Right.
And then that's it. They go, no. He said no. I failed. That's it. I'm done. No. No makes me more pissed off and want to go to the next person.
Right?
Well, that jackass said no.
Right.
I'm going to talk to you.
Exactly.
Why did he say no? I probably didn't listen, whatever. But I know you're a much better person than that. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And you know what you know.
I do. I sell it every day.
Yep. You and Nate are the salesmen of the county.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know. I tell you.
But you got to do it.
Been fun.
And you're talking about a pool. That's our kids. That's our future.
It is.
It's
a symbol.
It's a symbol. It's also something that has to do with athletics.
Yeah.
How big is athletics in this
Oh,
county?
huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Huge.
You know, so, you know, why don't we look into, you know, not only that, but a couple other options that there are besides just building the pool. Maybe you can get a covered pool. Maybe you can get an enclosed building with a pool in it. You know, it may be something that's doable without people having to go into their own pockets.
I agree.
And dish it out.
And
you know?
and calling names and talking bad about other projects is not helpful.
No, it's not.
And making fun of other people is not
18,000 people that live in this town.
Yes.
18,000, maybe closer to 19,000 now.
Right.
What is 150 people?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and look, my kids were in sports.
Mm-hmm.
That was all my daughter cared about was looking good in sports.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I mean, my son played football, baseball. I get all of that.
Yeah.
I do. I now look forward to my grandkids being involved.
Yeah.
But running off at the mouth is not.
No.
It's not going to help the situation.
No.
And I get the fact that people are sometimes myopic. They've got one vision, and that's the only vision. And if you're against my vision, you're against me.
That's right.
Oh, we got to lose that.
Yeah,
we gotta work
that's got to
together.
stop.
We gotta
I
stop.
agree. I don't agree with everything everybody does.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I hate that person because
No, that's
move on.
exactly right.
That's there's no separation.
Right.
It's like church and state, man.
Yeah. We
you
got
know,
to keep together.
You got to keep it together. So,
All right, Jeff.
So we'll talk about
Thank you.
that next week. And
Email us, call us.
Yeah, email me, Jeff.
Let us know what you want.
Jeff at GulfCoast1Radio.com.
Let's open up a can.
Let's open a can of whoop-ass and find out what we can do. Mitch, thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Guys, thanks for coming up tonight here on Inside Texas. I'm Jeff Michaels along with Mitch Stames, and I want to thank our guys for being on tonight. The lovely and talented Judge Nate McDonald,
Yes.
and the ever so more lovelier and balder Mayor, my friend Bob. He's that's a good guy. Sometime I'll sit down and we'll talk about how he helped me in my brain. That's a lot of help,
That's a
right
big
there.
problem.
That's a big problem,
That's a
right
big
there.
help.
It's a big help. I'm telling you. Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks.
Mitch's last night of the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm history now, folks.
Thanks, guys. Hey, we'll see you next time right here on